Hello, everybody. This is Playing in Traffic. My name is Lewis Lee, and this is Ray from Motormouth Radio. I'd like to thank Ray for taking over last week. I was down and out with my carpal tunnel and whatever I got. So,
Well, Lewis, that's what we're about here. It's a family. We look out for each other.
yeah, for
And
sure.
believe me, I wish there were days you could sit in on a radio show for me. I would have called you for that. But
Yeah.
that's a little harder to do.
Tell you what, man, I really appreciate you. I appreciate all the fellas, too, that hold down the fort when I'm out.
Yeah.
I tell you what, the auto community is a very it seems like it's a big community, but it's really not because everybody's pretty much connected.
Yeah.
So it's a good community to be in. Anything the custom automotive or aftermarket automotive, I guess you would say we are.
on like you said, on a national level and on a local level. I mean, we all do stuff locally, and I just worked with a couple guys, put a deal together between two people who would have never ever found each other ever. But I happened to be the guy that knew both of them.
Yeah.
So you work that deal, you put them together, and it's at the end of the day, everybody's happy. That's a good thing.
Yeah, it's nice, and that's kind of what happened with Arco. That's in Minnesota.
Uh-huh.
We got connected up, and then he connected us up with other people, and they all came here to help me out on my bus.
Right.
So, yeah, I mean, and I think Arco is out there now at Iron Horse, helping them out with a project. So
Okay.
yeah, it just bounces around. It's a nice thing.
Speaking of that, do we have a bus update?
Yeah. Let's see. I I got all the rivets in the sides, so I got all the metal tightened up. Because
Okay.
when I put it together at the shop, I just put a couple rivets in to get it home.
Uh-huh.
So now I have all the windows in, all the rivets are in. So now I just have to reseal the windows, and then I can start inside. I'm starting on the insulation and the floor.
It's a long road,
Yeah, it really is.
I mean, even when you talk about restoring a car or doing a motorcycle project, people who haven't done it don't realize what it really entails. But now something like you did, where you not only took a vehicle and then restructured it, and now you're rebuilding it. That's another level above just a regular restoration.
Yeah, and you have to think too. You have to clean everything.
Yeah.
Then weld it or whatever you're gonna do to it, and then primer it, and then paint it, and then put it back together, and then fabricate it. It's a process. I mean, I put myself in it though. I didn't have to do it that way.
Yeah.
But we're gonna live in it, so
right.
I'm gonna do it the way we're gonna like it.
And that's why so many people. That's why guys like us pick up projects that are like 70, 60, 70, 80% done. And you ask God, why didn't you finish this? I just lost interest. I ran out of steam. I ran out of money. I ran out of steam and money. People don't have that. A lot of people just can't stick with it for the long haul. And that's how we pick up a lot of our projects because, I remember when I was restoring my car, I'd have days where I'd be out there and I'd make 2 steps forward, but take 3 back.
Right.
Come in and my wife be like, well, what's the matter? You don't look happy. I had a bad day. I got to redo some stuff. Things I thought were going to fit didn't fit. And she's like, all right, well, how big of a deal is that? And I said, no big deal. I said, I'm done for tonight. Close the door. Let's have dinner. Tomorrow I'm going right back out there and I'm going to pick up. I'm just going to hit it again. And she's like, really? Why don't you take a break? I'm like, no. I said, I ain't going to take a break because you got to hit it head on. If you don't hit it head on and show it who's boss, you will lose. It's easy. And the next thing you know, it is, you put an empty box on the car and it's the cushions from the chair. The seasons go through. There's pool toys and there's snow stuff. Next thing you know, you can't find that car or truck, motorcycle, whatever you're working on. And I said, nope. I said, that's the amateur way of doing it. I said, I'm dogged and determined to get this thing done. And that's exactly how I did it.
Well, when I was doing peaches, believe me, there was a lot of times I went in the house and my wife kicked me back out. She was like, nope, go back out.
Yeah,
I'm like, dude, I'm done. I'm burning it. I'm lighting it on fire. I'm going to buy a bike tomorrow. And she was like, no, you got go out there and finish it.
Whatever it takes. It's like I said, it's an ordeal. And a lot of people, it's easy to talk about it. But to do it is another thing,
Yeah.
especially once you get it apart. And then if you're the type of person who doesn't bag and tag things or doesn't have a photographic memory, most of us don't,
Hmm.
you're gonna be looking for stuff for years. You know.
I bagged stuff and still couldn't
Yeah.
find stuff.
Yeah.
I'm like, I know I bagged it. Where's it at?
I know.
So yeah, I tell you, man, I put myself in rabbit holes though. I could just, take something apart, paint it, put it back together. But I always like, oh, maybe this will look nice. And then I'll do something. I like, oh my God, I have to do it now because I took it apart.
Right. I mean, sometimes you can do that. If you're working on a sub-assembly, you can take the stuff off, clean it, paint it, put it back. But if you got to take that stuff off to get to something else,
Mhm.
and maybe take that off to get to what you're really after, now you got maybe, a huge chunk of real estate taken apart before you're even at where you got to be.
Yeah.
So
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I said, then it's all got to go back together. And that's when that process of bagging and tagging and taking pictures helps.
Well, as I got older, when I was younger, I would take stuff apart and just fix what I needed to fix and put everything back together.
Uh-huh.
So as I got older, I was like, you know what? If I take it apart or take it off, I'm going to clean it and paint it every piece that I touch.
Yeah.
So then it ends up being months because I've put a project on every piece that I touch.
Well, right. But you're working toward the end where it's all going to be done. You're not going to have just one nice shiny component and the rest of it's going to look like crap. And the other thing I tell people, I do this, done this for years. Take something off and put the bolts or the screws back in where they. You can't do it all the time. It's not practical all the time, but
I try to do that too.
Sometimes you can, and because 9 out of 10 times, if they're just thrown in a bin or a box or one of those magnetic trays, sometimes it's easy. You can tell what goes where. But there's always that one like, where did this go? Where the hell did this
always
go?
one left.
Yeah.
Like, hope it don't come off somewhere. I just did a seat for one of my buddies, and it was a 2019 Tahoe.
Uh-huh.
And real nice truck, man, beautiful, all fully equipped and everything. But the seat was real rough, like the material. It was like, I'm gonna post a video of it, but it was like cardboard. So he wanted me to put what do you call it? Not velvet. What do you call it?
Velour?
Yeah.
That's
suede.
The fuzzy stuff. It's like they used it in the 80s on cars.
Yeah, I put the suede in the middle.
Oh, suede. Okay, that's nice.
Yeah, and then I put more padding in because it felt like a cardboard box, man.
Right.
I put some more padding in. It came out really nice. But he only wanted one seat done. I'm like, what about the rest of the passengers? He's like, oh, I don't care about them.
Nice.
He just wanted a nice ride, so I did his seat. It came out really nice. But you said that with the screws. I put all the screws back because I was worried. This ain't my vehicle. You know what I mean? I'm like, oh man. Yeah. Can't be losing stuff. So,
well, if you're not familiar with it, that's a good reason to do it. But even if you are familiar with it, just so you don't lose them,
Yeah. Yep.
And that comes down to like, when you take head bolts out, some cars have specific head bolts in specific locations,
mm-hmm.
So you punch a hole in a box and throw them in there, or same thing with push rods, line them up in the right order.
Yeah.
Yep.
One wrong rod in the wrong spot will do you in.
Well, I'll tell you, years ago, I had a Challenger, and my buddy was doing the body work. He took it to his shop, and he was doing the body work. He had the body lines all straightened out, but he had sanded off, probably ground off a lot of the old plastic and a lot of the paint. Mm-hmm. And then to this day, he doesn't stay in jobs too long. So he gives me a call one day and says, listen, I got to bring your car back to your house. I'm like, why? Well, I'm leaving my job like today, so I gotta get everything out of here. And I said, okay, well, good. I'll leave it there. So she says, yeah, I'll put it back in front of your house. I'll cover it with the cover and the tarp, just like you had it. I was like, okay. Now this was getting on into the fall, so of course the car sat through the winter. He didn't have a place. He was jumping around place to place. So, and I wasn't gonna do anything with it. It wasn't until the spring that I uncovered it, and then realized like. Yeah, he left it. The stuff that he ground down was bare metal, but now surface rusted. Because I guess he would have done it, but he didn't have time. And then I'm looking. I said, okay, let me throw it together. It was still registered and insured. I'll drive it over to him so he can finish it. And I'm like, all the lights were out and, the grill,
no.
all the bright work, everything was out. But it was all in boxes in the car. But just everything in the boxes, all the bolts, screws, bulbs, wires, just everything tossed in one big freaking salad of car parts. And I called them up. I said, listen, I was going to put the car together and bring it over to your house. Oh, yeah, okay. Well, yeah, all right, we can do that. I'm like, but no. I said, we got a problem. What? I said, I don't know where my stuff is. It's all in the car. I said, you got to come over here on Saturday or something, and you got to put this back together, because the way you took it apart,
You'll be there forever.
I'm beyond like pissed at this. It's not the way I work.
Yeah.
And he did. He came over and he rooted through everything. He figured it all out. He's a body man, so that's what he does every day.
Yeah.
But I said, man, no, that's so the more
You
most
spend the whole day just doing that stuff.
Yeah, that's why when I had my Pontiac in, I took it apart before it went to the body shop, so I had control of all the parts that were coming off of it, and still they still managed to lose something on me, even though all the other stuff was off, all the bright work, the lights, everything was out of the car. I have an aftermarket steering wheel with a horn button on it. And occasionally it would pop off, and there's a little spring in there that would, that gives spring pressure. Well, when I got the car back, the horn button was in the console. I'm like, okay, it popped off on him. No big deal. Where's the spring? I couldn't find the spring. Nowhere's in the car. Under the seats, I'm looking. Well, I have 3 horn kits here. Opened every one of them. They don't have the spring in it. This is 2 years ago this happened. I thought I found a spring a couple months ago. It's kind of triangular shaped and very light. I said, this is it. I found it in my stash. This is why I save all my junk. I finally went to put it in. Nah, that's not it either. So they still managed to lose something on me that I can't find.
Yeah. That's crazy, ain't it?
Yeah, it is. It is.
Yeah. Let's get the fellas in and see what they're talking about. We'll talk about our tires and all the good stuff.
Hey guys, how y'all doing?
Hey.
Ryan,
What's happening, guys?
Public
Scott. You were talking about the project there, and I thought maybe you looked in on my garage and saw everything sitting on the old Mustang, but
yeah, I did, because your wife, she actually sent out a link to certain people she put a camera in the corner so we can check in on the progress. So
check in on the progress. But it's funny that you talked about, picking up a project or stumbling across after somebody took apart. And, one of the fond memories I have of my dad helping me with his car, his Rabbit had a blown head gasket. And I told him, I said, he's like, oh, I'll just take it into the dealer. And I said, Dad, just leave it in the garage. I'll come over. We'll take it apart. I'll send the head out. We'll take care of everything. And, we'll get you back on the road. It's not like you really need it. You have another car to drive. And, at the most, it's going to be 1 week, just the weekend tearing apart. I'll drop the stuff off during the week and then get the stuff Friday. And then the weekend we'll put it back together. Right. Yeah, no problem. So I tear it all apart, got it all laid out, and took the head to work, sent it out, and got all the parts, got everything back. I come over Saturday morning, and my mom goes, oh, your dad's had so much fun out in the garage. And I'm like, what do you mean fun in the garage? He's been working every night on his car. And I was like, okay. And he comes down and he's got his little jumpsuit on and everything. And I'm like, Dad, what have you been doing? He goes, oh, I've just been cleaning up and getting this ready and getting that ready and doing this and doing that. And I'm like, okay, I go out. And he had gotten 2 tables, or he got sawhorses and 2 sheets of plywood. And he took every nut, bolt, component, he cleaned, painted, and laid all the nuts and bolts out by size.
Oh, no.
And every bracket was repainted and just laid out. And I was like, Dad, you added about 5.5 hours of figuring out on this. And he goes, well, what do you mean? I said, well, you know how you always look and say, how in the world did you put that back together after it sat for 2 weeks?
Yeah.
He goes, yeah. I said, well, like that water pump, I left all the different bolt sizes in. I said, now we have to measure each hole, each bolt, and put in so that A, we don't break something or crack something or get something tight. And he goes, oh, I guess I should have just left it alone. And I was like, yeah.
You know, that reminds me, I'm going to do a water pump in my wife's cruise. And the freaking thing has like 15 bolts. And I think there's at least 3 or 4 different sizes.
Yeah.
So even in a manual, they show you take them out and lay them out, like take the new gasket or the new pump and put them in the new pump on the bench as you take them out of the old pump, so you know where they go. I'm like, oh, what a disaster this is going to be.
Yeah, it was a real mess, I tell you. But we got it all back together and so forth. But I told him next time we do a project, don't worry about cleaning it up that well, Dad. It's okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, his heart, at least his heart was in the right place. He had a good idea,
And a nice shiny motor when he was done.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, he had taken all the bolts and ran taps through them. He cleaned, everything. There was he was old school, so everything was cleaned in kerosene and dried and repainted and
nice.
And now I know why Mom said he was having so much fun out in the garage.
I was just say he probably never had more fun, and just that afternoon, those afternoons went by for him.
Yeah,
and that's what guys need to do.
But it was pretty good. So I don't know.
He just wanted to spend more time with you.
Dodge Slant 6.
Huh?
Give me a Dodge Slant 6.
Oh yeah.
Pretty damn simple engine.
Yeah, until you got to do distributor work.
Yeah.
So I remember when I built my show truck, which was back in '91, and I had it in the corner of the shop I was working on. And at 6 o'clock, when I punched out, I worked on that thing. I didn't leave it like 1:30, 1:45, almost every single night for months. I mean, I had taken the body off the frame, and I did the chassis and painted and brake lines and this and the wiring harness and painting the motor and putting the motor in. And, I didn't stop, and you were talking about when you're working on your motorcycle, Lewis, and it's like, oh, I've had enough. And it's like, I don't know how I did this. I mean, back then I was 18, 19 years old. And I look back, I'm like, how the hell did I do that? 10 o'clock, 9:30, I'm falling asleep at night. And I'm there to like 1:45 in the middle of the night, working and then getting up the next morning at 6:30, 6:45, and then going to work.
I think we all did that.
Yeah, we all did.
Many, many nights of doing that.
Yep.
I was
Not
when I first started working down at the shop. There was a night where we stayed later in the summer to do something, and I told my friend's son, he's a younger guy. I said, "This takes me back 40 years." He goes, "What do you mean?" I said, "Because this is what it was like back in the day when we all worked day jobs, but then we would do our own stuff at night." I said, "You'd be at either the shop you worked at or somebody else's shop." I said, "That warm summer air, the cars going by, who'd see the light, they'd pull in, and who's bringing the pizza, who brings the beer, and like, maybe you're putting headers on the car, or you're doing an intake or heads or whatever." And like, I always wanted to see that on a time lapse camera, because the way people cycle through is, and I said, but this is a real warm fuzzy. This is how it used to be, 40 something years ago. This is every night was like this.
Yeah, when I did stereo competitions in the late 80s, early 90s, we did the same thing. We stay up all night getting ready for a competition and drive, 8 hours somewhere, no sleep.
Right.
Lewis, I was trying to log in on my iPhone, and I was having internet problems, but I came in the house close to the router. I had you two on the screen, but I had no sound. It was weird. I'm on Safari. I don't know if you saw me log in and out a couple of times.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I don't know.
But I had no sound from you guys. It was weird.
So, all right, Lewis, now you know what it's like when people call me or they'll get in touch with me on the radio show. Hey, how come I can't hear the show? What's wrong with the feed? I'm like, what the hell do I know? I'm here doing a lot. I'm talking to a microphone. I don't know what's going on with the rest of the world.
Yeah.
Call Brian. Ask him. I don't know. It's like,
I have no clue. Sometimes I can't get on.
Yeah, I know. I've had trouble. How are you supposed to know this?
Next time I'll try the iPad. I was going to do it out in the back garage where the truck is, but
One
think
day
it'd
I
be kind
think
of cool than being in here. But
Brian and John was on, and I couldn't get on. I'm looking at them. And,
No, you
It
know.
happens.
yeah.
so Lewis,
hey-
a couple weeks ago I was on. Was it last week or the week before? Last week. You weren't on, right? And you came on for a minute.
Last week, yeah.
Yeah. You feeling better or something, or?
Yeah. My wrist, man. That day, it was radiating up my arm into my neck. I was just a miserable beast. So I didn't want to be on here
You know
smiling.
what you did to it, or?
I think it's carpal tunnel from driving because
Oh.
it's the same pain I had in my right hand. I went to therapy and that helped out a lot. It still hurts a little bit, but I babied it and I put all my pressure on this hand, and then now this one's hurting. So
I know how to fix it.
yeah, cut it off.
Exactly.
I believe me, man. The other night I was like, man, where's the saw?
You just need to drop a bowling ball on your foot, and you won't worry about your
Yeah,
hands
exactly. You
anymore.
won't feel it.
Yeah,
So we're
Yours
talking
is-
tires tonight.
yeah.
I
Yeah,
ran
well-
over something 2 days ago, and I get to work. At the end of the day, down to 20 pounds. Fill it up. I watch the tire pressure coming home. Doesn't change. Next morning, down to 20, 15. Went back to my buddy's shop last night after work, and there was a pinhole. I was driving. I must have hit some board that had a nail or something in it.
Mm.
I heard something, but I'm like, what the hell was that? And then later on that day, I'm like, it's always something, you know?
You know, before I forget, I want to mention, because this is going to be good. Saturday morning, Sam's Garage. Tori's car is going to be in the on the episode.
Oh, cool.
It's 57, so you got to tune in. I know I'm off on Saturday, so I'm going to be able to watch it. So
Yeah.
Yeah, I DVR it.
I hear there's some surprises in store.
Yeah, he
I
does
like the
text me
show.
too.
Yeah.
Hey, I'd like to congratulate you for your retirement.
Ah, thank you. Yeah,
Now
It's
you're
official,
a
huh?
big dog. You're the OG now.
it's like vacation. So, you know, the guy that I replaced on the radio show, he retired and at that time and left, and I caught up with him a month later and said, "So, how's it going? How's retired life?" Because it's 6 Saturdays and a Sunday, and I thought about that for a minute. And I was like, "Oh wow, that's pretty cool." Wow,
Yeah.
6 Saturdays. And he's right. It is. It's just do what you want when you want.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool.
So here's what I came up with my tires. On my truck, I have the sensor that shows up on the dash. So I can fill it up. I'll go down the street. 2 minutes later, it comes back on. And it just drives me crazy. It's always on. So it's those sensors inside the tire, right?
The
Most
TPMS,
likely.
Maybe a
the
little battery
batteries.
in it.
the batteries go bad, and the sensors are not as foolproof, reliable as everybody thinks they are. They do present problems.
Mhm.
But yeah, how are those the original sensors?
Probably. Yeah.
What year's the
Truck?
car?
2010.
Yeah, that's old enough. The
Yep.
batteries go bad. Brian, do the scan tools that I don't use the TPMS
Yes.
scan tools too much. I've played with them a little. Do they? Can they give? I was thinking
They give you battery life. They give you battery life.
That's
Oh,
They'll
really?
tell you what the battery life is.
Yeah.
And like I said, average, is about 6 to 7 years is average.
Can I go to AutoZone and get it scanned, or I gotta go to a shop?
Well, you're going to have to replace them
Mhm.
and then have them it depends on how it's done, but you replace them and then they're reprogrammed, or some people will ghost them, or we'll take a aftermarket one, or one that can be copied, and they put it in, and then you really don't need the scanner really to reset them, because that number is in the computer. Usually you just get in there and you have to drive it for 20 minutes at 15 miles an hour, or whatever the speed is. There's a whole little bit in your owner's
I was
manual.
going to say it's worse than drive cycles. It really
Yeah.
is worse than doing drive cycles. And all cars, all manufacturers, they do it different. And forget it. Let's not even talk about European stuff.
Yeah.
You know,
But a lot of times, a lot of places will just ghost them or copy them and put them in, and that way, as long as they get them back on the right wheel and the right hole,
That's
because they
Interesting
will
you say
know the
that.
difference between left and right, front and back, right.
I will tell you, it's interesting you say that, Brian. Now, my wife's cruise, I rotate the tires every oil change, and I was getting a front right, low tire. So I go out there and I check. I'm like, this tire's fine. No, it was the right rear, because the car still thought that when the right rear was in the front, it had been programmed that way.
Yeah.
I moved it to the back, and that car isn't smart enough to know that it moved position. So it kept telling me, that sensor was there, but it didn't know where it was.
You probably didn't drive it far enough or long enough for it to understand, because most of the time they'll pick it up. That's why a lot of times they get into the problem with if it has a full spare in the trunk, and they go and it will pick that up, or they move it around and it's not driven. Because what happens is a lot of times nobody checks the air in the spare tire. So I know you, Ray, but I'm just saying most people don't. So they go and drag this thing out, put it on, and it's low, and then it sets a code, and then it's like really upset because it doesn't even know where that tire came from.
The other thing is on the SUVs with the spare on the rear, on the door, I haven't had this problem myself with the cars in the family, but I know somebody who did. They were getting a right or left rear TPS code, and they were fine. It was the spare. It was clocked in a position. It had an RF sensor in it. There's RF, and what's the other style? There's 2 or 3 styles of sensors, but the RF style, it was picking up the spare tire, and then it looked at it. The computer looked at it and said, "Hey, that wheel isn't moving." So that you knew that there was no the speed. It was getting bad speed sensor data, and it was like, of course it's not moving. It's the spare. And it was in and out of a couple shops until somebody finally figured out, I think they took the one tire off and swapped it, and then everything cleared up, and they realized if the sensor on that wheel has to be pointed up, it can't be in the down positions because it'll be picked up by the rear.
Interesting.
Rear wheels.
And they used to have 5 or 6 different frequencies. And they're really down to just the 2 now. It's something like 390 and 420 are the most common, and that will fit. But that one time, there were a handful. That's why you had to be careful in getting a sensor, because you had to get the right sensor, or right frequency. And then if you didn't, sometimes you couldn't copy them.
Well, early on, they were recommending go to the dealer for the sensor.
Yeah,
and that was like $125, $150 a sensor. Yay!
We sell the sensors now. We have the 2 most common type, and like I said, they fit.
Do you put those to the right? That's to the right or the left of the beef jerky?
Well, I can't have any of that on the truck because I eat it all. So I've learned.
I would too.
Some guys say, well, hey, how come you don't have anything on the truck? I said, because I'd be Jabba the Hutt. I'd be in the back of the truck and had to have somebody drive me around.
Hey, I'll come down and drive you around.
Yeah, well, hey.
That'd be fun.
That would. We'd get in trouble for sure.
Yeah, man. First day. The first morning.
So how much are those sensors on your truck?
I think there's something like $28, $35, $50. I mean, they're under.
They really came down a lot, which is great.
Now I have to go to a tire shop and have them put it on, right? Inside?
Unless you can break the bead
if you break it down, you can put them in.
Yeah, if you can just break the top bead, you can get in there and change it.
I'll never do that again.
I wouldn't either without a fire machine.
Listen, I used to do my semi trucks tires,
the
and
split rim?
you had to manhandle them, but when I did that motorcycle, those tires beat me down, man.
Motorcycles are some of the hardest tires in the world.
Oh my God! I called the shop, and it was like $40 a tire. I was like, I'm not paying that. So I got my stuff out, and I was like, I'll do semi tires, man.
Yeah,
I was out. I don't cuss, but I was almost cussing. It was a bad day, boy. I was throwing wrenches and having a fit.
The wider the rim, I think the easier it is, but the narrower the rim, like a regular car, like a big fat tire, it's easier on a wider rim.
I gave the guys fits at the tire shop because I brought them a set of M5015s mounted on 10-inch Anson rims. Those guys were cursing trying to get those off. The problem is the lower the sidewall, the stiffer it is. That's the harder to get those off.
Yeah.
Oh.
The old tires with the big sidewalls are a piece of cake. They almost fall off the rim.
The tool truck, I can't say usually. A lot of times I have put the tires on at the house. I just get my spoons out, pop them in and out, and put them on, and I'm pretty good at it and don't have to fight too much. So when I had my John Deere tractor and I had to put tires on that thing all the way around, I was like Lewis. By the time I got through the first two, I was so greased up trying to get this thing to go on. And then we're just talking, a 10-inch tire in the back and an 8-inch in the front, And these little John Deere tires, I had to fight for like 3.5 hours on. Really wore me
try
out.
to change tractor tires on ones that have water-filled tires.
Oh yeah,
Water-filled tires?
Big farm tractors have water-filled rear tires.
Oh wow!
And my boss thought it'd be a good idea. This was back over 40 years ago. He thought it'd be a good idea to make some extra money fixing tractor flats.
Or you fixing?
Son of a bitch.
Right.
It might have been for him, but it wasn't for me.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, they do that for weight.
Yes, they do.
They do that for weight.
And it's a pain in the ass to do that.
Yeah.
I bet.
I filled mine up with water, and during the when I had the plow on it, I'd fill it up with water for weight.
Yeah.
Interesting.
When you got a leak, though,
Oh yeah.
you got a puncture, you get sprayed with water. No problem.
Yep.
Every time you go around, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. The only
about those
problem
gas
is it's a little bit of a mess when they freeze up.
How about those gas prices?
We never were anywhere where it froze, so I'm glad about that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, we were thinking how much fuel mileage you lose when you have low tires or overinflated tires. People don't really put that in the mix.
Definitely when they're low. Yeah, without a doubt. Because heat builds up, friction. Friction means heat, less rolling resistance. And that's the thing a lot of people don't understand. Like I know a few people that had Priuses and they needed tires. There's special tires on those cars, on those EV cars, for low rolling resistance.
Really?
They're expensive. And you guys are like, oh man, do I got to put those on? Well, you don't have to, but you're not going to get the same kind of, especially even on the hybrids, you're not going to get the same kind of mileage because the car is designed around those tires.
Yeah.
And
I never knew
Well,
that.
it's amazing how many people don't know how to use a tire gauge, for crying out
oh,
loud.
right.
Oh yeah.
I mean, they're pretty simple. A little stick thing, you put it on, you read the pressure.
Yep.
But that's beyond a lot of people to do.
Yep, sure is. Yeah, I had a customer and he had a Honda, I don't know, I guess it was a Civic, and this is back when it came with 13s, 13-inch rims, and it had these little bicycle tires on it and so forth, and it came time to buy tires, and he asked me, he goes, and his son had a newer Honda, but it had it was either 14s or 15, must have been 14s, or it might have been 15s. And he asked me if they would fit, and I would say, well, yeah, but there's going to be some difference. It's going to drive a little different. It's going to steer a little different. I mean, you're putting such a, you understand, you're putting twice the size tire on the car. And he's like, yeah, but I don't want to spend the money, and these are free. I said, okay. And unfortunately, Ken, he was, a really good guy, but he was a real stickler about his gas mileage. So I get this phone call. I think I need a tune-up. I say, well, it wasn't that long ago. What's wrong? He goes, my gas mileage really dropped. And I said, well, did you put those bigger tires on? And he's like, yeah. And I said, well, it's because of the bigger tires. And he goes, how can that be? And I was like, well, before, you only had this much tire. Now you have something like this. I mean, it's rolling resistance. It all plays in the factor, there's a whole thing. So needless to say, the next time I went over, he had the 13s back on. So
He went and bought them.
yeah, he went and bought the tires. So it is kind of funny. You don't realize.
Now, when I was hauling cars on my wedge trailers, my 4-car trailer, it had 3 axles. And so when I go around a corner, it would rip off, it'd tear those tires up. So I'd never buy new tires. I'd always go buy used ones. Like every couple of months, I'd buy used tires, throw in there.
Yeah.
Because it'd rip a new tire up, man. I'd be almost cussing.
Yeah.
Yep. So I had my guy, man. I was like, I'm coming. I need 6 tires. You have them ready for me. Yep.
Yeah. Why would it tear them up? I mean, is it just because of the drag?
Just the way it pivots. It's a bad design. I think I don't think they sell the trailers anymore with 3. They switched to dualies, 2 axles with dual tires.
Yeah.
Instead of having 3 axles with 1 tire on each.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
It was a bad design. It's just when you turn corners, man, you could hear it. Just.
I think what it was those 3 tires. The back ones. Did you rip up the back ones the most?
Yep.
Yeah, because it's dragging it. It's pivoting on the center tire, but it's dragging that rear tire. My dad had a motorhome that had dualies and then a single tire, and that single tire would get ripped up twice as fast. And I'm like, what the hell did they do this for?
Yeah.
Hey.
Was one of the rear tires steer tire? Was that long enough to be a steer, or was it just back there because of the weight or whatever?
It was
just
back there just to be drug around corners. Yeah. I imagine that's what yours was, Lewis.
Just so you have to buy more tires.
Yep.
Just to drink. Yeah.
That's about it. The
Lewis,
engineers don't care if you got to buy tires.
Huh?
You getting any rain out your way, Lewis?
I think it's supposed to come tonight.
We had one hell of a storm last night.
Like they showed like it was supposed to rain and it never rained, and it was supposed to rain again and it never rained. And I got this grass that's trying to grow, brand new grass, brand new soil. I just paid $1,000 to have this guy come up that fits my yard, and I'm watching grass grow. Literally, just wanted to rain. We finally got some last night, but it was supposed to rain all day today, 100% on the thing, and it rained for like an hour this morning, and then it cleared up. I'm like,
we had a bad storm yesterday. It came.
Yeah, ours was vicious, so we had a really bad
downpours last night.
Mm-hmm.
We had it this morning at like 6 a.m., just like they said on schedule. Thunder.
Yep.
Torrential rain, the whole bit. 6 a.m. It's between 6 and 7.
Well, we had it around 8:30 this morning. It was downpours.
Yeah, went your way, I guess.
Yeah. We had
right here in Oregon, it's raining now up near Portland because we're at a Renaissance show and we're waiting for the next weekend. And it's raining on and off now. Down in California, it's a drought again.
Oh, yeah.
Brian, where are you, in Maryland?
Yeah, Maryland.
Yeah. Yep. How far are you from Ocean City?
We're 4.5 hours. I'm in the middle. I'm in between DC and Baltimore. And so it's 4.5 hours to the beach or 4.5 hours to go skiing. You pick your poison.
Beach.
Right.
Crab cakes.
Crab cakes is just right around the corner. So
that's where I'm headed.
So Ray,
in the tool truck heading to crab cakes.
Yeah.
So Ray, what was the final result with you talking about moving to Carolina maybe, or?
The final result hasn't happened yet. I'm still living in New York.
I mean, I know you went down. Did you find anything or?
Found a lot of stuff. But the problem is what you find then isn't going to be what you find the next time because stuff was selling real fast.
Real fast.
So the prices are cheaper down there than up here, so you can get more money.
No. Used to
be.
Used to
not anymore.
Everything came up. Everything came up. The stuff that you get for $250 300 down there now is like, 480, 510, everything just because everybody from up here went down there with cash, cashed out up here, went down there, and the people got wise and said, wow, we could ask more. And they had bidding wars going on, all sorts of crazy. I'm glad that I had time to wait out the insanity because it's nuts. It's starting to slowly reverse down there now.
Well, West Virginia is now paying people to move into their area. So that means they must be trying to tilt the scales of the population of votes or whatever. So come on our way and they'll pay you to move into God's country.
I can honestly say I will never move to Virginia.
West Virginia.
Well, I think West Virginia is better, but I don't know.
They
don't like us.
When I think of Virginia, back in, it was, I think, 89, I went down to visit my grandparents down in Fort Myers, Florida. And I bought a 72 GTO, and I towed it back with my S10 Blazer, my old S10 actually, I had a 2.8 in it with a Harley 600 on it. Don't ask me. Anyway, I had one of those U-Haul auto transports, and we're coming back, and it had those surge brakes. So when you go to stop, the weight is like pushing like a master cylinder. Well, the thing locked up and it bent my bumper. They put a bumper mounted hitch on it, believe it or not. U-Haul down in Florida. So I had to go to Richmond, Virginia to the U-Haul. And I'm driving down these roads, and there are all these like bad neighborhoods and people, Mohawks, and oh my God, I thought we were going to get killed. I mean, just bad neighborhoods. And that was, back in, I don't know, 88 or 89. I don't know how it is now, but.
Well, the big question is, what did you do with the GTO?
Yeah.
So it was a 71?
71,
I'm sorry.
Okay.
455 HO, turbo 400, factory AC car. It was kind of a cool car. It had like these racing stripes. Anyway, I repainted the car and I flipped it like, I don't know, a year later.
Okay.
I paid $1,250 for it, not knowing it was a matching number motor.
Uh-oh.
And if I had known back then, and then I built my 64 Chevelle after that.
Okay. All right. So it was a flip. Yeah.
Yeah. But I had some fun, But yeah, Richmond, Virginia. Oh my God.
Well,
crazy.
Well, so far, at least in West Virginia, it hasn't gotten crazy because you could buy a lot for a little.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, huh?
It's West Virginia.
Yeah. So
it's Virginia, but the
Out
West
in the middle
Side.
of nowhere.
I don't know. Hey, if I could build my own compound and don't have anybody looking around, that's fine for me.
There you go.
I wouldn't mind having a piece somewhere. Believe me.
Yep. So, because after all, I mean, especially, I can't even begin to tell you the craziness that I've seen in the last 3 or 4 days with these people. I mean, I can't wait until the dog days of August comes and the heat really cooks up because everybody here is completely out of their mind.
Yeah,
Brian,
it's going to be bad summer.
Brian, you should tell the story you told me about the seasonal trend you're getting into now with the guys on your route. Because people, I think, need to know that. I was explaining it to my wife, and she was like, wow, she didn't realize that. And I said, yeah, this is what a tool man has to deal with. And it's a nagging part of that job. So
you're talking about everybody going on vacation?
Yeah, lay it out like that week by week thing because it's
yeah. Well, I mean, it's and just the craziness of it, especially like these 2 weeks because of graduation. A lot of people, a lot of kids are graduating from high school or even just the change of graduation. So I just don't miss one person that goes on vacation. I miss 20 to 30 people a day. So you times that by 5, and that's how many people that you miss because they're on vacation or they're gone. And I hate the summer months because it's just not one day. It's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And then the next week, if I have a shop of 5 people, because they don't allow everybody to be off at the same time. The next week I miss somebody.
Yeah.
So between now until school starts, you know, my collections or my even just the general seeing of people is down from, you know, 30% or whatever, and of missing. And of course, everybody wants me to back. They say, "Oh, just backtrack." Well, I can't keep running each day. I can't have a Groundhog Day and keep rerunning each day over and over to catch everybody that I missed that time. And it's really bizarre.
You know, I was thinking about it. Now, explain, well, to me and everybody else, like with credit, when a guy has truck credit versus company credit, I mean, you know, truck credit I can see being different, but with company credit, couldn't they just hit him with finance charges if he doesn't pay?
Well, they do. I mean, they do that. I mean, they do hit, you know, but a lot of times, you know, what kind of irritates me on that is they'll say, well, go ahead and set up a payment for them, but I'll catch up with you on the next week. You know, because they don't want to be hit with the service charge, or they don't want to be dinged on their credit.
Well, no, the customer doesn't, but that's their incentive to pay.
Yeah. So I tell them, I said, well, you got to pay me too. I mean, you can't skip me 1 week and not.
Yeah.
And so forth. And that gets, you know, again, I
think you'd be the one to get screwed, not the company.
Right. And the funny part, or not even the funny part, but it's kind of, I know when a guy's getting ready to go on vacation. Okay. Because when I walk in, I had a guy actually last Monday, he said, I'll get you next week. And I'm like, okay. So, of course, I go in there, and he was on vacation.
Uh-huh.
So, and I know when I see him this Monday, he's going to say, I don't have any money because I was just on vacation. Yeah. So he saved his payment from me so that he would have more money for vacation. And then, of course, he got paid his vacation. I tell him, I said, what is the difference? You still got paid vacation. So you still got your payments.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, but I always like it. Usually, majority of the time, I have the last word because I just love when the guy calls me and says, hey, I really need this. Is there any way you can help me out? And I'm like, well, you're 4 weeks behind.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, it goes a long way. And if you know.
The cool thing would be is if you could find out where the guy was on vacation, especially if he was local, and just like you show up at Harbor Freight, show up on the beach with your board shorts and your snow cone and your floppy hat and your.
Hey, here's your receipt.
Yeah.
Well, hey, the funny part was I used to go down to Daytona in February, and when I used to go down to the 500, and I had like season tickets for, I don't know, 10 years, 10, 12 years I had season tickets. And one of the last times that we had gone down, we get down there, and a guy that had skipped out on me that owed me quite a bit of money, he had transferred within the company to a place down in Virginia, down into Florida, you know? So we get down there, and of course we're down there for a week. And I said to my mother-in-law, I said, I need to borrow a car, and we need an
unmarked car.
We need to run down the road here, and I got to pop in and see somebody. And so I drive down and pulled in, walked into the shop, and the look on the guy's face was completely priceless.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey, what's going on? And he's like, what are you doing? And I said, I'm here to collect. And he goes, oh. Yeah, I said, oh, yeah. So,
they said, well, but this isn't your area. This isn't your route. How can you do that?
What was that, Pop Squirrel?
What happened to people paying their debts?
Yeah.
People are scumbags.
Yeah, people are dirtbags.
Did he pay you?
Oh, yeah.
Right there?
He started out with I don't have the money, I don't have cash, I don't have this. And I said, well, I can take credit cards. I said, when I get back home, I'll run your credit card. He said, okay. So I took the information. Of course, I had the credit card machine at my mother-in-law's, and he thought he was going to have a couple days, like he could change or whatever. But I drove back to Jacksonville and
ran him.
So
Cha-ching. There you go. Terry, what's happening, brother?
Episode of The Sopranos.
Hey, Terry.
yeah,
You got rid of that big afro.
Making collections and
Yeah. PayPal.
yep,
PayPal has a new swiper and the chip thing.
yep.
Who does?
Oh, look at
PayPal.
that.
PayPal.
Ah, okay.
Wow.
You hook it up to your
he's
phone.
always paying his bill.
Yeah.
Yeah, you hook Bluetooth it to your phone, and you can swipe or use a chip.
Nice.
What's up, Terry?
Yeah.
What's happening, gentlemen?
What's the good word?
What are you building now,
busy.
Terry?
Yeah, what are you building now?
I'm still doing that 67 Chevelle. I got one mini tub in already, and I'm, like it takes long because what I did was usually I'll put one in and then film the second one, but I started filming the first one, and now the second one's going to hopefully go kind of quick, and then I put the car back on the frame. Because I got a couple more things to do, a little bit more sheet work to do underneath, and then I'm going to bring it out, do the whole truck liner and all that stuff, slap it back on the frame, put the frame back together. Well, actually, I got to also do the frame portion, the kick-ups. I got to do that, bring that in, So that's going to be fun. I talked to Chassis John about it. I talked to Lou Santiago about it because these guys, they, I want to make sure that I'm doing it the right way,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Speaking of that, let me get to Jack. John sends his best to everybody. He's still recuperating, and he's holding his own. He's still in good spirits. My wife said she saw him post on Facebook tonight, so I know he's got to be in good spirits.
Oh, he's very negative on Facebook about our president.
Well, it's very.
Can't blame him.
My point is, it's typical John. He's back in form, so it's not like if he was positive about the whole thing, then you'd say, "Hey, what happened? You got hit in the head. What happened?" So,
He said
he's got a back problem, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And with multiple stuff, once the medical profession gets you in their clutches, it's one thing after the other, one test after the other. So they're working on him and they're making him feel they're gonna get him right. They're gonna set him up. So he can't wait to be back. I told him everybody misses him, and we've been talking.
Yes.
So
I think he's watching a hockey game right now too.
He is.
What about hockey?
Yeah.
How about those
New York
Celtics?
Rangers against the Tampa Bay Lightning.
How about those Celtics? Go Boston.
I just saw a
Guess no one else is a fan, huh?
He's at the Ranger game tonight.
Terry, you're a Celtics fan, right?
Totally not. I used to be. I ain't
Knicks,
gonna
huh?
lie. I used to be.
New York Knicks, right?
You know what? Once I stopped really playing sports, I really don't even pay attention other than like the Super Bowl and the playoff because like that's a party and that's eating. So
Yeah.
I sit there and watch it every night. I'd rather be in the garage.
Honest to goodness, true story. Long ago, had a job in the city, and I was talking to one of the bosses, and the boss told me that he was at Super Bowl III down in Miami at the bar. The whole game. At the bar.
That was we used to at the dealership. We would have all the at the time it was the Bullets. Was the basketball instead of the Wizards. And we had a few of the Redskins guys. They'd come in with their cars and so forth. Well, I had this one guy. He was I don't even know who. I can't even remember his name now. But I worked on his car, and he was a basketball player. And we were talking, and carrying on, and he kept like going like, "You know who I am, right?" And I was like, "Yeah, no, not really." And I'm drinking a Sprite can I have a Sprite can, and his picture's on the Sprite can, you know. And I'm drinking, and he's like going on, and he finally said something. I said, "I'm really sorry, dude." And I realized, and I was like, "Oh, I'm really sorry, dude. Unless you have a motor and you're running around in a circle," I said, "I really don't care what you do." And and after that, he was like my best customer because I wasn't hitting him up for tickets or autographs or whatever. It was the funniest thing. But he's like, "Don't you see, like I'm holding this can, drinking, talking to him." And he's like, "Dude, like I'm right there." I'm like, "Oh, that is you." Oh, okay.
That's funny.
It was, I guess it was one of those NBA, I guess when Sprite did something with NBA or something. I don't know. But it was just kind of funny. And we used to get Pat Sajak all the time. He came in. He had a 911, and they would all. I mean, everybody was so funny, and I'm out there just BS with them and so forth. And he was like, "Man, you just like treat them the same, and it goes so much farther instead of drooling all over them.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy."
Yeah, sure does. That's funny.
It's funny because that's what Dwayne Maddox told me to do towards Jesse James. Like he was just like, if you try to be his best friend, he said, "I know it's not you, Terry, but there's a guy, there's people out there try to be his best friend, and he'll put you into place." He says, "Just go out there and just do you." And I was like, I'm not a starstruck guy, believe it or not. I just like, hey, these guys put their pants on one leg at a time like I do. And
I use the same line many a time. So
they step out of line, I'll flip them. I don't care who they
Right.
And sure enough, I just treat him like normal. And he says if he likes you, he's gonna start messing with you. Sure enough, here come Tuesday, maybe Wednesday. He started joking with the T-Dog. And I was like, "Jesse, yo, you gotta chill."
Hey Terry, you giving away some of those T-shirts?
This is an old one. I got new ones coming out. I finally got the new ones coming out. Huh?
Send me a medium.
You need a medium? Let me see what I can do. I said everyone. When I get the big old box, everyone on the screen is gonna get one. I'm gonna get one for Chassis John as well.
Nice.
Oh. Get one for Chassis John as well.
Yeah, I got a couple of them.
Yeah, we got a couple of them. I got to say
right.
thank you to you guys because you guys support me, so I really appreciate it.
I need to order
great
mustard.
YouTube videos.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you very much, man. When I come to Boston, we can get some fish chowder.
Oh, definitely.
Great.
Hey, Scott, is your buddy still rolling VMAX? You still mess with the VMAX?
Dave, yeah. I talked to him on the phone the other day. He's talking about selling his Camaro. Did you ever see pictures of his 78 Camaro, the Pro Street?
Is it
The
blue?
silver one?
Oh, no.
It's got a 671 coming through the hood.
Oh, yeah?
I'll have to forward you a couple of pictures. It's a nice car. He's complaining, "Oh, the price of gas. It costs me too much to even drive it, blah, 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 blah." He's got to run high test. The thing's got, 411s in it or 456s. I mean, with a 4-speed. I mean, the gas mileage is probably 7 miles to the gallon if he's lucky.
No, if he's lucky, yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yes,
now he's like, maybe I'll sell the car. And
I'd like to get a Project VMAX because my wife don't know it's fast.
That's a sweet bike. Yeah, the VMAX is a nice bike.
She'll think it's just a cruiser. She won't let me get a sports bike, so I gotta
What's that big chrome thing on the side that comes up? It's just a fake air scoop. Don't worry.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
Decoration.
Yeah.
Right.
Speaking of chrome, I got my bumper back.
Did you?
The bumper for the 71 Chevelle. I got. Well, here's the thing. Now I'm stuck with another situation, but I think I pretty much know what I'm going to do. The front bumper, y'all know, was modified. I put the driving lights in there, and I also smoothed it out a little bit and everything. Got rid of the pocket, the license plate pocket, and the back came out beautiful. But then he calls me up. Where was it? The one in Tennessee. I forget his name. Oh, damn, Chip. I forget his name. And he says that he just lost his best guy, TIG welding guy, because it's got that bumper's got to be straight.
Yeah.
And he lost his the guy just up and quit. So he was doing a lot of the work. And he says, "Terry, this front bumper, like I said before, I mean, I'd love to see it all chrome and everything like that, but it's just a lot of work. And we dipped it in nickel, and you can still see the imperfections. It's just a lot of work.
Oh, I see you going in a bad place here.
Yeah.
So he's thinking of just skimming it and painting it body color.
It came back. I'm just going to paint it body color, not both. At first, I was like, you know what, that chrome, maybe I'll just scuff the chrome so we can just on the rear and just go and just
chrome in the back is okay, and in the front. That's
once again, I gotta disagree. If you're gonna paint one, you gotta paint them both.
Well,
but then I said to myself, you know what? Let me just go and just keep it, because I opened it up and I took the bumper out and I was like, this rear bumper is too beautiful for me to scratch up. I gotta leave that rear bumper chrome. Yeah, I'm gonna leave it chrome.
Don't let Kelly see it.
I'm going to paint the front, and I'm going to have the chrome in the back.
How about having someone paint airbrush to make it look like it's chrome?
What about just another chrome shop? There's a guy up here by us who still does it. I mean, they're not cheap. I was gonna use them, and I decided not to because they were. I mean, it's top shelf work, but I ended up going for the.
That's true. You can have somebody do the work on it.
I think what I'm going to do is
practice makes perfect, Terry. This is where you start.
I'm curious to see what that front bumper is going to look like painted. I'm curious to see that. If worse come to worse, if I like them painted,
what color
over the winter, I'll take the chrome one off, put in the shed, or maybe possibly sell it because the bumper bolts are gone too, so it's a perfect bumper. And then what I'll do is go to what's his name, the place Ground Up. Go get a replacement stock.
This stuff is crap. I hate to say it.
Exactly. So then I wouldn't mind chopping that up and smoothing it out and painting that,
Mm-hmm.
Because I heard that this stuff is thin metal crap and all that. So
it's hit or miss with that company. I hate to say
that's what. No, I would take the car up there like my buddy did. He took the car up there and he says the first rear bumper he had that it fit good. No, I'm sorry. The first front bumper fit well, but he had to get 4 rear ones. And he said he was in that parking lot. He put them on.
Lock back in. Yeah, this thing don't fit. Give me another one.
Yeah, no, he says this. No.
They're like an hour and a half for me. A little less than that. They actually put on a car show. I don't know if they still do it, but I went like 5 years ago. It took Best Pro Street. It was a nice time. A lot of cars. You got to walk in.
They put on some good shows.
They had different vendors of different companies they sell inside, and you could look at parts, and they had like a 10% discount or something.
And it's funny because like when I was making the decision, my mother stopped by and she was like, I was telling her what I was thinking about doing. She goes, Terry, they're going to either see the front or the rear, so if you want to paint the front bumper and leave the rear chrome, who's going to really notice? I said, you're going to see a profile view. It's going to be noticeable, Ma. He says, well, do you really care what people think? And then I started thinking, the Cuda came with that. The Superbird came with that. 69 Camaro came with that. The GTO, I think the Oldsmobile came with that.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of cars that came with painted bumpers and the rear was chrome.
Yeah.
Did you tuck in that bumper too?
It's tucked in a little, yes.
Yeah, I would definitely go chrome in the back. The Firebirds, they had some of the Camaros actually had the body color paint bumper. I think was it 69 or whatever, and
69, yes, 69 Camaro, yes, So
69 had a painted front bumper.
Yeah, it was an option.
Was it an Enduro?
It was an Enduro bumper. Yeah, it was an option.
I just read an article just recently. I don't know if it was Muscle Machine magazine or Hot Rod just last month. There was something about a Camaro. Literally, and I think it had that bumper on the front.
Yep, the Enduro bumper came. What's it called? The color of the car.
Actually, that might have been a 69 or 68 Chevelle. I read that. Whatever, but yeah, I wouldn't think twice about doing one chrome and one painted.
Because I like, what it is. Also, the problem is also, I don't want to get rid of the chrome accents of the car. I like the chrome above the wheel.
It breaks it up.
I like the chrome on the drip rails. I like the chrome on the window.
And the lights are kind of like chrome in a way.
The bezels in the light. And also on the grill, there's chrome in there. I kind of like that. So, You know, but that back bumper, you know, the only reason I didn't want to paint that is because that's a big back bumper. The back bumper is about this big. Now you also have the hood, the trunk that slants down a little bit, which would go right into the bumper, and then you got the
Too
little
much
back
body
mount.
color.
That's
Too
an
much
awful
body
lot
color.
of that's an awful lot of color not to be broken up by chrome.
Right.
That's a lot of real estate.
That's when you put a red stripe in there.
Nah, I've got the ghost stripes in there. We'll be
Back
fine.
to the 80s.
You know, that's why I notched the little what's it called, the little valance, so I could stick the chrome, you know, pipes up in there to just break it up. You know,
That's because you have a little blue oval in the corner there. Coyote power.
that will never happen. That will never.
I'm sorry, Terry. I hit my head earlier.
Actually, I lie. Shoot, I got the Lincoln Mark 8. What the hell's wrong with me?
I know.
I will say I have a 49-inch in my show truck, but I would never do anything else Ford. And the blue engine is Cadillac blue, not Ford blue.
Yeah. Keep telling yourself that.
It is Cadillac blue.
Kids.
Hey guys, I gotta head to bed. So
Yeah.
always a
Okay.
pleasure.
Thanks, Scott. Appreciate you.
Yeah, you take care, everyone.
Take care, Scott.
Be good.
Yeah, I gotta jump.
Speaking of Fords, I got my new club piece today. 63 Ford Econoline.
Oh, yeah, van.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
It's a trick truck.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's very cool.
didn't that truck used to ride Willie's?
Yeah. So it's got the big block Ford in the back.
Nice.
Well, hold on a sec. Wait a second. No, trick truck was Dodge.
Yeah. Well, this was Ford's answer to the Hemi under the glass, not Hemi under glass, but the little Dodge
Little red wagon.
Little red
Red
wagon.
wagon. Yeah. Yeah. If you give me a minute,
'Cause I
I
used
can
to
go
get
get
those
that.
confused
I
because
have
they
some
look-
of that.
Because they look so
But,
similar, those trucks.
Yeah.
I want to know
Looks so
what you
similar.
felt like when you're that high up in the air.
Well, Pop Scroll, what they did is they cut a hole in the floor. The driver looked out through the floor, and he
Yeah.
would watch the white line. That's the only way you can tell where they were.
Yep.
I get nervous when I can't see things.
Yeah. It's
And he
definitely,
was
it's
moving.
definitely a learned response.
I mean, that car wasn't going like 40 miles an hour. That truck was moving.
Oh no, they
With
were
a-
quick.
Yeah.
So
It's funny
that's-
because back then, man, you had to have a set to drive these cars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I still talk about that time where I was watching TV and they were talking about they went to like a museum and pulled out one of Richard Petty Dodge Chargers. It was someone else, but they actually pulled one out, like a 72 Charger they used to race around in NASCAR, and they got like a newer guy to drive that car on the track.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You know? So, and he was just like, I don't know how these guys did it.
Yeah.
I don't know how these
They
guys
had
did it.
they just had
That
Clint
car on the road
Boyer.
was just ridiculous. I mean, the steering was like
Clint Boyer just drove Davey Allison's one of the Davey Allison's Thunderbird two races ago in Talladega,
So that.
and it's the same thing actually. And those guys, like I said, those things were it was a whole. And Davey Allison was a little guy. I mean, you look at Mark Martin. I mean, how little Mark Martin of a guy he was, and lugging those, and those were heavy cars back then too. Those cars were 3,400 pounds of
Muscle.
car. I mean, they weren't just they were heavy. They were heavy and
Can you imagine driving
powerful.
one of those Superbirds? Can you imagine driving one
Yeah.
of those Superbirds, Richard Petty Superbird around the track?
At Daytona, at 1 year at Daytona, they had a thing, and they had, I don't know, it was I guess for their 50th anniversary when I went down. It was one of the races, so they had 50 years, and they had all the different cars of each era driving on the track,
Nice.
and they would come around, and of course they're at parade lap, and they had to keep the cars like at 70 miles an hour. Because when they slowed them down, they all started sliding. So when they're going up on the bankment, they're actually sitting like this going.
Yeah.
You know, the back end will fall there because that's how much of an embankment, but they had to keep so much speed, at least 70, it was like 70, 75 miles an hour to keep them somewhat. And they were still slanted or hanging down on the back ends because they were coming down on the embankment. And it was kind of crazy, but man, driving those older cars, you had to have a big old pair sitting underneath between your legs on those.
And you ever see these guys like you see them driving like the 55, 56 Chevys convertible on Daytona on the beach.
Yeah.
Right.
These guys on the beach driving in convertible, no roll bar whatsoever.
Driving over the grandstands.
Yeah. They had yeah, that was some crazy stuff. And some of those cars, a lot of times, first of all, when you went, you grabbed people out of the stands to be your pit crew or to help you out, you know. So you had somebody that you didn't even know helping you. And if you like, there were times Richard Petty talked about, you'd blow a tire, somebody would go out in the parking lot and grab a tire off of a car to finish the race. I mean, you know, it was crazy on what you had to do to get it done, you know. So you imagine when you're getting all done, you go out there and some guy yanked the tire off of your car to finish the race, and now you got to like hunt down a tire to get home. You know, it's
that's crazy.
Because you know when you get it back, it ain't. You talk about dragging a tire around the track. You know, you're dragging some tires. You know, so yeah, that's some crazy stuff for sure.
And they scrub off the paint and everything like that they put on the car to race and go to work the next morning.
Yeah.
The car
Yeah.
All right, fellas, I gotta jump ship.
All right, Lewis.
All right, Lewis. Good seeing you.
Take care, Lewis.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys. Terry, give me a call sometime this weekend.
All right, dude, man. I got to talk to you about some stuff anyway. It's cool.
All right, sounds good. Fellas.
Take care, gentlemen.
Take care. Peace out.
I'm taking off also. I forgot. I got a doctor's appointment tomorrow. Speaking of
that's no good.
That's no good, you know.
Everything okay, Jim? Just regular old checkup?
Yeah, just a checkup. Actually, you know, I have arthritis in my right knee, and I'm going to get an injection tomorrow to fill all the gaps. That, you know, there's nothing there no more.
Yeah.
So hopefully that'll work. I take about 5 steps, and my knee's done.
Wow.
Nothing.
No, we need you to see me now this year
when they start to inject you, because it's a big one.
I know. I've had this a couple. I've had one of the hydrocortisone injections a few times.
Yeah.
And my wife fainted the one time because then he pulls out this needle, and my wife's like, "Oh my god!" I was yeah. So what? He numbed it. I'm not feeling nothing. He goes into me.
Yeah.
She's like, ugh. All right. Thanks, guys. See you next week.
All right,
Take care.
Oh boy.
Dropping like flies. Dropping
Yeah,
like
it's that time of
flies.
night. Yeah.
Man.
It is
I
that
keep
time of night.
expecting the signal to drop because I got a rainstorm out here and I'm on a broadband card.
Wow.
Sounds like it's getting ready to rain here.
Well, I got my basement window open and it's nice and quiet and warm. It's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. I hope it does
I'm on
rain
the
so
other
I can go and you know, like do another video with the hair.
Oh yeah, you were looking kind of sexy there, Terry.
That was funny. You know,
Yeah.
and it's funny because, like I said, my son, he was out there, he was doing it too. You know, he's got a little fro. But the problem was, I videotaped him. But the problem was, he goes too far down, and you don't see it so much. You know, so yeah, that was a good time. Oh man.
Yeah. Yeah, I had about 3.5 inches of rain inside the tool truck. That thing leaks a little. So
yeah,
tell you,
yeah.
Spend all that money and I need to wear a Gordon's fisherman raincoat and a suit in the damn truck.
Raincoat and hat.
Get you some of that.
You know, you could pass for the Gordon's fisherman, man.
Right.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it ain't pleasant seeing the fat guy sweating in the rain suit, dude. There's not I can't sit in it too long.
Well, if it's
That
raining, they
rubber-
don't know if it's sweat or rain. So there you go.
Right, right.
That's sticky stuff, man.
So, Brian, I saw a video. Michael had a box on his truck. It was a 6, but it was like 5 feet tall. I mean, he stood next to it and like he had to put his hands like here to hit the top of that box.
Yeah, he had a add drawer put in.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm hoping, of course, like I said, it's been so crazy. We have this week, Emma graduates high school, my last one out of high school. So we're having a party on Saturday. Monday is actually her graduation. So Monday I'll be missing the route to say. But I have a 4 Series on the truck that I just got. And I have an added drawer to put to that, and that really it's stout. It makes it pretty tall.
Yeah, yeah, very nice.
That's an extra on a 6 Series. That's like an extra 8.5 inches or something.
Right.
So when you're sitting at 47 and you add 8 more inches,
55 inches. Yeah,
yeah, you're. Some guys need a little step stool.
Right. Yeah, the little guys. Wow, that's cool.
Yeah, that is. And then when you turn around and put a hutch on it or anything like that, man, it's a tower.
Right.
I have on mine. The only difference I did with mine was I put the optional 8-inch casters instead of the 6-inch casters.
Okay.
So it raised it up a little over 2 inches. This is, I think this is our regular caster. That's a regular 6-inch caster.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And then I put 8s on my box. So it's
that's 6. But from the wheel to the plate has got to be about 8 inches.
Yeah.
From the floor.
So, yeah. So, this is almost another 2 inch. Yeah. So this is really 8 inches. And then when you put an 8-inch caster on, it's 10.
Right.
So it really, some guys, like I said, mine, it's a right height for me. Some of the smaller guys might not like it because, it comes up to their chest, when you're working on it. It's the right height for me. It doesn't hurt my back.
Right.
So, I've got, sometimes you have to, I got some, on one guy's box, we got some spacers, and we had to raise it up a little bit just so that he was at the right height. Get that custom feeling.
Right.
What do you think your box weighs when it's full of tools?
Oh,
I have no idea.
Well, I've been moving some toolboxes lately out of work and stuff, and I could tell you, just having smaller boxes. I mean, a top box weight. I mean, you can't lift it. Even a smaller one, you can't lift by yourself. It's got to be. So that's got to be, man. 500 pounds plus.
Yeah, a 3-bay 4 Series is something like 980 pounds or something.
Yeah.
That's empty. So it adds up pretty quick on weight. My lift gate is 2,500 pounds. That's my lift gate weight. And so far, I haven't had any problems. I've had some it's strained to pick up a few boxes, but I know that they've gotten the other guy to try to move a box, and theirs won't pick it up. And so far, I haven't had any problem. Knocks on wood. But I did have one that was really tough. I actually made him pull 2 drawers out. He was a bus tractor trailer guy, so he had some big shit in the bottom of his box, and I told him he had to pull the drawers out. So, but it picked it up.
Yeah.
He was surprised. He said the other guy in the white truck with red lettering couldn't pick it. Not to pick on anybody.
No.
You know.
Not the least bit.
Well,
So-
gentlemen, it's time for me to head on off. I got to take care of some things before I go to bed.
Okay, Terry, it was good seeing you.
Always,
Next time
always.
you
I
show
appreciate
one of
that.
those videos of you flinging your hair around, you know, show a little more skin. Let's get those ratings up. Come on, man. I got a whole bunch of ones here.
Oh boy.
Come on, baby.
Oh
And
my
you gotta
God!
understand, it's like the older ladies, you know,
They need love too.
well, the older ladies, you know, I've learned here recently, they don't mess around. They're $5 girls. So
Terry,
we can work on getting that car done a little faster and getting that chrome bumper instead of that painted stuff. Okay?
Oh my goodness!
Oh yeah, just look Brian straight in the eyes and tell him.
Be easy. That's it. No, exactly. Hell, no, you got to put a hell in front of that.
Come on now. No.
On that note,
Man.
gentlemen,
All right, Terry, take
I'll
it
catch
easy.
you guys
All right,
next
Terry.
week.
I'll send
Thank
you
you,
one or
Terry.
two, all right?
I
Yeah.
appreciate that.
Oh, man.
All righty.
Yeah, nothing but fun and excitement.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, my spouse just stuck her head in and said it's supper time.
Oh.
What are we having, Papa Squirrel?
Hell, I don't know. I'm not fixing it.
We had a homemade
I'll tell
spaghetti.
you exactly what
sauce
we're
tonight.
having. We're having food.
That's good. That's all that matters. That's
it.
We did homemade red spaghetti sauce tonight.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Well, that sounds good. That's
Meat-
what we had
homemade
last night.
meatballs
Homemade
And
spaghetti.
sausage and braciole, and people in the South don't know what braciole is. That's an Italian delicacy. And
That's
garlic
awesome.
bread.
All right, Papa Squirrel, you guys be safe. Take
See you
care.
later.
All right,
Yep.
Papa Squirrel.
That's funny. Actually, I wanted spaghetti tonight, but I didn't get home until really late.
Oh yeah.
I didn't get home until like 8:40 or whatever.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I had it's been like I said.
Just stop off the dollar bar.
No, I wish, dude. I tell you, it's been crazy. I don't know, man. This whole, I mean, it's just really, really crazy, bizarre.
It's a grind. It's
Yeah.
a grind. I mean, that's, whenever one of the kids would say something about, complain, say, listen, that's why they call it work, because it is.
Yeah, it's just, and I don't know. I mean, I got every shop I walk into, there's, somebody's gone, somebody's gone. And I just constantly, have, I need a body man. I need a painter. I need I need a mechanic. I need, and I'm like, there's just nobody in this field, or there's nobody coming into this field. It's very, I don't even know the right word. I don't want to say, I guess upsetting or sad to see just something, because no matter what, we still have to work on cars.
Right.
We've said it before, and I know you've hit it on your show, where even if it's electric, it still has other components that need to be repaired. I mean,
Yeah.
and you might not. I mean, I'll never forget when my father-in-law, he had a first generation Prius, and he said something to me one day. He's like, I think I need to check these brakes. And I was like, well, why? And he goes, well, I'm at like 80,000 miles and it's never squeaked. Never, the light hasn't come on. It hasn't, of course, they don't use the brake like
they have regenerative braking.
Yeah.
Too, so.
I mean, it's not the same. So, of course, I'll never forget. He went out and he bought all the stuff, pads, rotors, shoes, drum, the whole 9 yards. He bought everything. He thought he was going to sit down on a Saturday and do brakes, and takes it all apart. And he's like, man, stuff looks brand new.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, to what you were just saying, now, of course, I spend time with the wife during the day. We go shopping and we go to this store, that store, all the good food stores and the pool store. And I tell you, 1, 2, 3 food stores, the pool store. Where else were you? A library. Everybody's got help wanted signs up everywhere we go. Even we went to All American Burger. It's a burger joint. It's like an old Wetson's. Oh, it's the best. And even there, and usually that's where kids will get their summer job and help wanted. And usually by now those jobs are filled. Those kids get those jobs. They secure them in May.
Yeah.
Everybody's looking for work. The deli by my house, it's for sale. They not for sale. They help wanted.
Looking for help want. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, it's really and again, I don't know where the money's coming from, or I don't know what people are doing. Like I said, with it, because it's really bizarre.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
I think I asked you this once before, but what's that silver panel behind you that says Matco Tools on it that looks like it's
this?
Yeah.
That's my plasma cutter.
It is. Okay. Was that King Tut on top of it? What's the gold thing?
No. This this is coffee. This is
nice.
Caramel. This is caramel. This is Brianna's. So and
did you steal it from her, or are you going to give it?
Yeah, I want something a little different.
Yeah.
I'm not a real big flavored coffee guy.
Me neither.
And
any flavor as long as it's regular.
But this is, every once in a while, this is pretty good. Actually, I stumbled across, and this was at 7-Eleven. That's where I get my coffee. I don't.
7-Eleven's got good coffee. I agree.
I usually it's 7-Eleven. I very rarely will do Starbucks or Dunk. I'm not into all that.
I never do Starbucks.
Yeah, I'm not into any of that.
I'm like, you know what? You're going to spend that kind of money for a cup of coffee. You could buy 3 coffees and a box of donuts somewhere else.
Yeah. And but they have a brand. It was at 7-Eleven, and it's in their coffee. It's Costa Rica. And it has a really good taste.
Yeah, they got a dark blend. They got a Colombian blend.
Yeah.
Sometimes I mix them.
Yeah. And there was another one. It's got a blue. I love the. I know I'm kind of stumbling over my word here, but I love the blueberry.
Oh, okay.
The blueberry. It's very, very hard to find.
I've heard about it, but I've never had it.
And it's the blueberry. Actually, when I do find it, if I half blueberry and half regular, it has the right. It's not overbearing. It's just the right strength. So if I can find blueberry, I got one place downtown Silver Spring, down in the city there.
Yeah.
I think the only reason why he has it, because his wife, because
his wife owns a 7-Eleven, and
his wife likes it, and when she's working, because I noticed that when she's not working, it's not there, and when she is working, it's there. So
makes sense.
But I've gotten kind of fond of that Costa Rica. And we had a sample pack of all that fireman stuff.
Oh, right.
that's supposed to be in. I don't know. Shit. Like everything else, I don't even know when anything comes in.
Yeah.
I just kind of.
Well, I'll tell you this: Matco keeps sending out. I get the emails, I get the Instagram, I get the the flash sales, and all the notifications go out about the stuff. And the other day, I said, "Let me try it again." Okay, let me log in. Yeah, it still doesn't know who I am. And I say,
really?
"Okay, here's my email address. That's what I registered with." So I forget password. I forgot my password. Send it. No, sorry, you're not in the system. So I tried to re-register, and it wouldn't let me re-register because, oh no, you're already in the system. But then it wouldn't let me get it. Like, oh Jesus! I was like,
Yeah,
find me the
I don't know
IT
who
guy
to talk to. I had a guy the other day on the app. He came across and he said, I could see my balance, but I can't see anything else. I can't. And I was like, okay, well, give me I said, I went and looked. And he's not even on mine. I don't even know how he's doing it because I don't even have him on my end, And I'm like,
they're screwed up, man. They are really screwed up.
I said, are you sure that So he showed, he brought it up on the phone and showed, and I'm like, yep, that's what it is. But he couldn't see with his history. He couldn't see what he had bought.
Right.
So I went in, and I don't know what I did, but I went in, I played around, and
And deleted his account. And you deleted his account.
Yeah, and I went in and played around with it, and now it seems to be working because he sent me some stuff for broken tools or whatever.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Like I said, it's better and it's come a long way, but it still needs a lot of. I mean,
it's not there yet.
It's not there yet, and I just hope. I just hope that we can get most of it straightened out before the other guys do, because we're the only ones. And, like I said, they can't even get half their marketing right. But
Right. Yeah. Hope that somebody wants to pay you.
No, I tell you, these new guys.
Oh yeah, new guys, huh? I'm reading I think it's a popular hot rodding from 1977. It was a good story in there about a Mustang. It was a '68 fastback Mustang that he built for bracket racing out of the West Coast, and he was doing like NHRA sportsman racing, and he said, I got tired of the NHRA system, so I just want to do bracket racing. It's easier on the car. I don't have to be as super competitive. I can do what I want. And he's running a big block. He's a tranny rebuilder, so he rebuilt his own C6, and he's got a 9-inch out back, ladder bars, all standard stuff. And the car's in it was in the 11s, but it was a tough looking car. Once I get that, I gotta scan it. I'll scan the article and I'll send it to you. It's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Seeing the old stuff,
Yeah. Yeah, some of that older stuff, or like you said, the stance, is priceless, or it's really hard to.
Oh yeah.
It's hard to make the newer stuff look that way,
Right.
I mean,
right. I realized something reading this magazine, because then they did it. There was an Oldsmobile article, there was a Pontiac article, and it was all like with what they had, mostly stock parts that they had to, there was always some aftermarket stuff, but depending on the class they were in. And I realized, like, guys back then, us included, because we were there, had to work a lot harder to go fast and do stuff than the guys today, because they'll just go out and buy a new Hellcat, or a Corvette, or a Mustang, or whatever it is, and they're already in the 10s.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Like that, It's like, man, it was a lot harder back then to make a car go fast.
Yeah.
And, you had to redo everything. Now.
And you figure like hunting down the parts, or knowing, because it's like, I I remember I still have the list, but I guess it was somewhere in 84, maybe a little earlier. Because let's see, when the Boss came back, the Boss 302 or the Boss Mustang, which was a V8, the 302, that was in 82. So it must have been like 84. I remember me and my buddy, we were going to hunt. We had to hunt. We were going to put a newer Boss motor in my Mustang.
Oh yeah.
You know, so but that would have been, fuel injected and all that stuff, and then trying to hunt down everything. I mean, I remember the list of stuff that we had about, the O2 sensor and the header and the how the Fords had those module, the different color pigtail modules back, all that crap, and it's so funny thinking about, and look, what do you do today? You just pick up a phone and order a Dominator, a sniper kit or whatever. And it's got, it's everything there.
Right.
And
it learns, it self-learns.
Yeah. I mean, you don't have to play with any of that stuff or, the funny part was, of course, back in those days, most of that stuff was all, GM based. So to keep it Ford was really hard because they didn't make a kit, it wasn't easy running like, a GM single wire O2 sensor or whatever, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And have all that stuff.
Sure.
So, yeah, it's crazy when you think about it and how far we've come.
Yeah.
And then you turn that, and I know we can't speak for Chassis John, but you get something like what he got when that Camaro he was doing, and he still had to fight. He was like getting to the point where like, well, I'm just going to put a carburetor back on it because it just getting the right tweaks of everything, or actually, I was talking to one of my customers today. We were talking. He had an older K-Tronic, a Volkswagen in the shop, and a lot of people don't realize, or it's important, you gotta know what control pressure, operating pressure, and all that with the fuel pressure gauge. They had the fuel pressure. You had to know where you're at to start, and a lot of people would try to put a Band-Aid on it, and you might tweak this one end to solve this problem, but you created another problem, on a different end.
Yeah.
And that's the same thing, like, putting something new on where you got to make sure all, you have if it's a 5-volt reference or, whatever you need, you got to make sure you have all that stuff,
Right.
So it's crazy for sure.
Yeah.
That's like getting back to like what you were saying. We were talking the other day about, dual sniper or single sniper, but as much as I keep going back and forth like that, just like that picture of that Pontiac I sent you, there's nothing more to me when you open that hood and you see those 3.2s sitting there.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
I mean,
well, that was the thing. I was going to the GTO show. The Long Island GTO Club had a show every year I'd go to, and I walked down the row with like the 64 to 67s, and all you saw was tri-power.
Right.
And I was going to put my tri-power on my car, and I said, you know what, man, that's going to be just like there's more of these out here now than there were originally. It looks like they're all in one place. And that's why I said I got to do something different. And I decided on the dual quad, kind of like the 421. That was like what the Hypo 421s used back in the day.
Yeah.
Just change it up a little.
Yeah.
You're always surprised, like, whoa, you got 2 4-barrels on there. Yeah, 2.
Yeah, that is kind of funny when they say, and yeah. But they don't get that excited about the 3.2s.
Yeah, because everybody's got it. They're
Yeah.
like, oh, that must suck a lot of gas. Like it's the carburetors are actually small. They're 500 CFM carburetors. So you run it off of 500 most of the time. Most of your average driving. Yeah, open them both up and you're at 1,000 CFM. But that's not. That's the small percentage of the time that you're driving, you're ever going to be at full throttle.
Yeah.
So,
when I had the tunnel ram on the Mustang, actually the tunnel ram, and even I had the what was that thing called, cross ram?
Oh yeah, the cross ram's cool.
I had a cross ram, which I really, we had that dude we had that guy on here. What company? What manifold company was that?
Was it Edelbrock?
No. We had that guy.
I don't remember who was on here because I know Manafree made some really wild manifolds back in the day, cross rams and all.
God, what was that company?
The Chrysler one. That was the factory Chrysler setup.
But it's one of because when he was on here, he told me the Ford one was fairly rare. They didn't make a lot of them. You follow him on Facebook. He's the one that had all the pictures. He was posting all the pictures of history and so forth. What was that? Gosh.
Oh wait, no. Hold on.
Wayland? No, Wheeland. No, what was it?
No, it's not Wyand.
Offenhauser.
Yeah.
Well, that's the cross ram that I have is an
Nice.
Offenhauser one. The only problem, like I said, I know it's that because I ground and polished the intake. I took all the numbers off. I took the letters off.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
when I think back, I really wish I'd never done that because it's
right.
It's a fairly rare manifold, but it ran the best when I had those on there. I had 2 stock 450 4 barrels, the 4100s or whatever,
right.
And that's the car ran the best.
Yeah.
The car ran the best with that. I even had some 600s that I had a down jet, and I had 650s on them, and I went through. I have a whole pile of carburetors, but when I had those 2 4100s, the factory ones, they ran the best. That's when the car ran the best.
Yeah. Oh, that buddy I was talking about with the carburetor, the 1 barrel for the Mustang. I was talking to him today, and he was going to see if he could get the kit. And he says, I told him he called. Oh, he went to a shop down by him. He says, yeah, there's he said, they told me I had to get the number off the carburetor because there was 3 different gears or 3 different carburetors. So I said, hold on. I grabbed my high grade book.
Yeah.
And it was 3 different gears, but they all used
the same kit or close to it, right?
It's the 1100 carburetor, and the kit is 910. So I sent them a screenshot, and I said, look, it's all the same kit for all 3 years.
Yeah.
I said, and here's the kit number, the high grade number.
Yeah,
so
you probably have a few different gas. If there was they always have a handful of gas.
But I tell you, they $41 it cost them for a 1 barrel kit.
Wow.
And I said to him, it's a crapshoot because you don't know if you got an old stock kit that was made before ethanol. I said the accelerator pump's probably going to last you a year, and then next year it's going to be bad again.
Yeah.
I said because let's face it, they're not making many, if any, new carburetor kits anymore.
Right.
Where's the? I guess that there is some demand, but so I don't know. We'll see. He's going to drop it off tomorrow.
I went into one of my shops today, and it's not a really big box, but it's a good size box, and it has a whole bunch of they said, "Hey, do you want this?" And I was like, I just said, "Yeah, sure. What is it?"
Yeah, what is it?
And it was a box of Stant radiator thermostats, caps, and it was another company in there. I think it was. I don't think they were Blue Streak. What was Blue Streak? What was Standard?
Standard Motors, yeah. Standard.
Yeah, I think it was Standard. I know it wasn't Blue Streak because they weren't in blue box. It was a red box. That's Standard.
Yeah, Standard is blue and white. Yeah.
No. Blue Streak is blue and white.
Yeah,
Standard was red, right?
The standard parts are in red and white, and Blue Streak was always in blue. Yeah.
Yeah. So they had that with some old GM fuel filters and stuff like that. I said, well, yeah, what are you going to do? He goes, well, they've been here for who knows how long, and I hate to throw them away because they're new.
Yeah.
And I said, I'll just go ahead and give them. I'll see. I'll go through, and I got my old parts books here. I'll just see what it is. I don't know, like I said, but
right.
Like I need another project, but
I know.
I hate seeing stuff like that get thrown away.
Yeah, no, I agree.
So especially. They really can't go bad. It's not. That's the only thing that scares me about those carburetor kits. I have a handful of them in my carburetor rebuilt toolbox.
Yeah.
And I don't know how long that rubber. Like I said, the diaphragms or.
That's the problem. But if the kit is in the sleeve with the plastic over it, it's kind of sealed.
Yeah.
Just the problem is that stuff wasn't designed for ethanol use. And
yeah.
When I had my Challenger, this is going back in the early 90s, I converted from a 2-barrel to a 4-barrel. So I found a Dodge Diplomat, a cop car, because they came with 318 4-barrel engines. And I bought an Edelbrock aluminum intake. But off the cop car, I needed the linkage. The brackets, and the cable. Otherwise, nothing fits right. And got all of that, and I think I got it from Summit or Jegs that summer. I remember I got the catalog, and on the back page they had a 500 CFM Edelbrock 4-barrel electric choke, and it was like $300. I'm like, sold. I'll take it. Put that thing on. The car started right up. I didn't even adjust it for like 3 months because it ran so good, but. That was back when we had MTBE in the gas.
Right.
And that stuff was nasty. So every year I would run the car all summer to be fine. I'd park it for the winter. And every spring, the accelerator pump would be shot. I'd have to buy a full rebuild kit just to get the accelerator pump. And then it will be fine for the whole season.
Yep,
and the same thing next year. But,
I had, you've probably heard me talk about before. I had a weed whacker, and it was an old school, it was, I'm sure that it was a hell of a weed whacker. I'm sure it could have been like the James Bond jetpack. You know what I'm saying? This thing was, it would cut a tree down. This is when I worked at a landscape company. And of course, when I left, they moved on to other ones, but I had that thing for years and years and years and years. And like you said, it was a 2-cycle. You mixed it and everything. But for years and years and years, and then all of a sudden the ethanol came along.
Right.
And I remember like the first season after, or like 2 seasons, it was like I had to play with it to get it to run. And then it was a rebuild kit. And then, each season it just got, and then one season I went to take it off and it just like disintegrated in my hand.
Yeah.
And I was like, I couldn't figure out, I didn't know why, at that time. And then you speed up you speed it up 15 years or whatever. And when I bought my John Deere tractor and we're doing the paperwork, and he said, okay, he goes, well, this form here states that you will run non-ethanol gas, and if you bring the tractor in for warranty work, your fuel will be tested, and if it has ethanol, it voids the warranty.
Wow. Okay.
And I was like, okay, well, what does that do? He says, oh, it's really hard on small engines because of the moisture content, the water, and that stuff your carburetor will disintegrate. And then I had that flashback of that day in the shed when it all crumbled, and I was like, oh,
right.
Ethanol.
Yeah.
So that's the evil word today.
Yep.
We learned a new word.
And Chris had a carburetor. The carburetor's on his TR6 when he had it, and they sat long enough. And I have a picture of it somewhere. The bowls just had this brown jelly in it. It turned to just jelly. Ooh.
Yeah.
So
it was pretty interesting. So after that, of course, I have my ethanol killer. You mix it
right
and so forth.
Yeah,
but I have 2 gas stations in my route that have non-ethanol gas.
Oh, great.
And it's kind of weird. And you can actually, I never even really thought of it because, of course, everywhere you go that has gas, has ethanol in it.
Right.
But like this place, you can go and you can smell a difference.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's really kind of weird. And this guy does a lot of hot rod business, guys bringing the older cars and going in and filling up and so forth, or, getting ethanol-free gas.
Sure thing.
But it's really funny because he has a sign on there that says ethanol-free gas. And there's been a few times being there and people say, is that lead-free? Or, what kind of gas is ethanol-free? They've been programmed about, lead-free gas.
Right.
Or whatever. It's like, well, what's ethanol-free? So it's kind of funny. The general public and, or the general aspect of all,
How much more expensive is that gas?
Actually, this tomorrow I have to look because I've never, I guess I'm so shell shocked at how the prices are. I've just never really paid attention.
Yeah.
And I see one of the shops tomorrow, so I'll have to take a look because I'm now actually right when we were talking about it, I was like, man, I wonder what his price is. So I'll have to take a double look tomorrow and see see where he's sitting at.
Nice.
That's funny.
Yeah, it's been daily, just going up daily overnight. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's I was talking to an owner yesterday, and he told me yesterday was the first time in 10 days that his price didn't go up.
Wow.
So I don't know if that's good or what the deal was, but he said that was the first time in 10 days that hadn't gone up.
Wow.
And that was Tuesday. And I noticed that today when I drove by there, today's Thursday, so even today, his price still didn't go up. It was still the same.
Ours had gone down a week or so ago, and now it's started going back up again.
Yeah.
The good thing is I'm not driving as much now, so it's like, it's not taking, I got 3 cars. I'm always, just 3 family cars. I'm always cycling through the gas station.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I haven't even had my Pontiac out this year. I haven't even taken it out.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I got to get my Fiat out of the other garage. Actually, I didn't even drive that poor car last year. I took it out in June because the inspection was due. Got inspected and I put it back. And the reason is, I think I told you, I used to drive over to that garage with my Mazda. And when I took the Fiat out, I put the Mazda in. And then I could keep the Fiat at home. I keep it for like a month or more sometimes. And it was going to rain heavy. I'd bring it back over. But now I'm driving the FJ. I don't know if it's going to fit clear the door in that garage.
Oh, really? Yeah.
So I don't want to leave it on the street over there because it's a dead end street. It's a weird setup. The lady's house faces one street, but her garage is in the back and faces the street behind her. So I don't want to just leave my car and then I'm kind of aware of that. Just leaving the car somewhere. Plus, I don't want to come back and find it on paving stones. With the wheels off it.
No, yeah, I agree. Especially nice quiet road. I mean, back there. Actually, I forgot. One of my shops, he flips. He's turning. He does a lot of turning cars. And I noticed yesterday he had a FJ.
Oh yeah.
Had the all the auction writing on it. So
okay.
I meant to ask him what the deal was with it.
Yeah.
It was I don't know what year it was. I don't know. I
can't tell by looking.
Yeah. It was maroon. It was maroon with a white top.
Right. That maroon's not a bad color.
Yeah. I really like the voodoo blue.
Yeah.
The voodoo blue.
If I had my choice, I'd be hard pressed between voodoo blue and that yellow color, the Sonic yellow. I like the yellow. There's one running around here, and the guy put Tonka decals on it. I'm like,
that's good. Cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
I'm not really a yellow guy like that, but I do like the yellow. I mean, the yellow and the voodoo. And I saw it was really nice looking. I saw a white one.
Yeah.
And I'm fond of white. The only problem with the white that I noticed, it still had the white top.
Right.
And I didn't get a really good look at it. If I ever see it again, I'll have to look. But it looked like it was two shades different.
Well, probably because the white on the roof is the same for all of them, and the white body color was probably the different shade, like a brighter white.
Yeah, because when I looked at it, that's the first thing I was like, "Oh, a white one," and then I was like, "That's weird." I said, "That looks weird," because the roof was like it looked like a different shade white than the white of the truck.
There's not a lot of white ones. The first all white one I saw was when we were down in Virginia getting gas, and I saw a white one.
Yeah,
I'm like, oh, look at that. So you don't see too many of them.
No, and so like I said, and of course, you see a lot of black ones, silver ones. There's a lot of silver ones around here.
Yeah. True.
A lot of silver, black. I've seen a few of the maroons, a lot of yellow, a lot of voodoos.
Yeah. There's a whole bunch. There's a whole color chart. There's a whole shitload of them.
You sent me that one. That's what I looked, and there's a few colors, but I don't know. Did I send you the picture of at one of my dealerships, at one of my Toyota dealerships, they had they bought at Barrett Jackson the number 2 VIN of the new 24 or 23 TRD Tundra thing.
Oh no.
And it's a hybrid. It's a hybrid V6 twin turbo.
Oh wow.
And they paid $700,000.
Holy shit.
Yeah, they got it from Barrett Jackson. It was a charity thing, and it's sitting in the showroom. But it was funny. I was going over to that dealership. That was my Toyota dealership and Lexus dealerships there. And I come around the corner and I see one of those reliable car carriers, and I said, that's the company that does Barrett Jackson, you know? So I was like, and I know the owner of that dealership, he's got, I've never personally seen it, but he's got a warehouse over here in Rockville that's just filled with cars. I mean, he's got, he's a mini Jay Leno type thing,
Right.
And so I was like, oh, this would be interesting. So parked the truck and saw a few people starting to gather around, and I was like, what's this? And the guy goes, he goes, yeah, that asshole bought the second VIN truck of the TRD thing. And I was like, oh yeah. And he goes, yeah. He goes, you can't give us a raise, but he spends $700,000. And I'm like, oh man, this is good for morale.
Right.
Yeah. Everybody in the shop is all pissed off because this thing. So I was like, man, I don't know if I'd have it delivered to the dealership. You know what I'm saying?
Well, that's so his wife wouldn't see it.
Yeah. Well, I guess.
Garage.
But he also, they said the day before he had gotten some Toyota Supra, one of those new ones from, and it was a convertible. It was supposed to be I forgot to go look, but it was supposed to be a Indy pace car.
Oh yeah,
one of those. I don't know how much he spent on that.
That dude's got some dough, huh?
Oh yeah, dude.
Somebody's making money.
Oh yeah, it's disgusting. This guy, of course, it's a very big dealership. I mean, named Dark Cars. I mean, it's all up and down the East Coast. I mean, they own tons of shit.
Oh, you know what I did see that looked really, really good? Again, Matco Michael put the blue impact gun, the blue pneumatic impact gun up on his table. Then he took, I think, the blue. I think if it was the air hammer or if it was the die grinder, and then he put a ratchet up next to it. He says, if this doesn't look sweet, I'm like, man, that combination looks real nice.
I just got my blue impact. I didn't get my screwdrivers yet, but I did get my blue impact.
Nice.
That was a specialty. That's for Fisher House.
Oh
for
yeah,
the veterans. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I ordered 3 and got 1. So
wow.
Yeah. I don't know. Like I said. And and supposedly I think I was going through some part numbers, and I saw that we were going to have blue pliers and side cutters and stuff like that.
Makes sense.
So I saw that part number. Actually, I'll have to see if they go through and I can order them yet. I don't know.
Makes sense.
It's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
So
do it all, man. Do it all.
So what's on the game plan for you over there tomorrow there, Ray?
Well, this buddy's going to come over with this carburetor, and he said to me, what's good for you? I said, look, dude, I'm free all day. I'm whatever you want to do. He's like, well, yeah, come by in the morning, afternoon. I said, you know what? I said, Friday has become my sleep-in day now. I said, because I do this show on Thursday night, and it runs late. I said, but sleep-in means 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
I said, if it's even after 8, it's late. I said, I said, so it's not like I said, let me know when you want to come out. I said, we'll be fine. So,
yeah,
because he's a retired city cop. He was auto crimes guy. So and he's a drummer. So
that's good.
So yeah, he's got this Mustang, which is all restored and original. They kept the 200 in it with the 1 barrel. I mean,
the whole 9 yards. Huh? Yeah.
It's convertible.
What year? 65, 66?
66, I think he told me it was. Yeah. Yeah. So he's got a Corvette too. He's thinking about selling the Corvette. Like these, him and his. There's another guy I know. I met him through our other friend Cliff, who calls the show all the time. They'd worked together in auto crimes, and I think this guy was the lieutenant. He was the boss. But both of those guys, when they get cars and do them, they're 110% perfect. They'll go out of their way to find that OEM or NOS bracket or cable. Everything's got to be just right?
Right,
And
yeah.
you know, and I tell them, man, you guys, you wear me out. I said, I can't do that. I said, because after all that, you'd be afraid to take the damn car out where everything is perfect. It's like,
Yeah.
cars aren't supposed to be perfect. You know,
Yeah.
they laugh at me.
No, that's no, I agree. I couldn't have that. That's probably one of the reasons why that car is still sitting in a million pieces. Because it drives me crazy. It drove me crazy. I never left the car.
Yeah.
Even when I drove it. I mean, you know, when I drove it, I never let. I mean, that car was literally never out of my sight. And the one, like I said, the one time we had the driveway done. You know, when I was still at my parents, had the driveway done, so I had to park out on the street.
Oh yeah.
And 3:00 in the morning, there's somebody trying to get in the car, and you know, I have to yell out the window. I throw the clothes on, grab the baseball bat. I run out the house. I jump in the car. I drive across the driveway, put it back in the garage. My dad's like, "Hey, what do you think you're doing?" And I'm like, "Yeah, fucking a guy across the street trying to break in the car, you know?"
Wow.
And, you know, like I said, I guess that's one reason why I really didn't have a girlfriend, because we go someplace and if we went to the movies, I got up in the middle of the movies and went out to check on the car, you know?
Yeah.
I mean,
Right.
I just never, it was very rare that I left that car out of my sight or whatever. And I don't think after, especially today, I don't think I could, it'd be really hard to park it, you know, if I wasn't sitting in it, to park it someplace and get out and go into a store or something or do something.
Yeah, it was weird. Like when I had it in the body shop, it was the only time it was ever away from me. But at least I knew it was going to be inside all day, at night. It would always be inside. It would never be out. And that made it a little easier to bear.
Yeah. And at least, you know, like I said, you knew where, I mean, you know, the place. I mean, you know, again, I think deep down inside, I mean, I think that's one of the things that I know where it is, I guess. I don't know.
Right.
It's kind of crazy. I don't know.
No. Yeah.
But,
well, yeah, it's a party for a long time. It's not a fly by night thing. So,
yeah.
You know.
So, but it's definitely, I don't know. If we wait any longer, we may never get to drive it. You know, they won't have gas. I won't have gas for it, or maybe it is time to do the electric conversion, right?
Yeah. I mean, that's why, like when I did this motor, I was, we were already using ethanol, and I said, I got to be a little realistic, and I went down to, like, from 10 3/4, I went down to, like, 9.5 to 1. I forget what it came out to be on the compression. And pump gas is fine.
Yeah.
It's so at least I could run it on pump gas. I don't have to worry about it'll run the crappy gas.
Yeah.
But you had to sacrifice the compression, but that's what you got to do. This gas is just crap.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So
it's funny when you talk to, or you hear, like you said, you got something that has 30-year-old gas in the car and it will still kind of start, you know what I'm saying? But this new stuff,
it's bad after a
couple months and it's garbage.
Done. Yeah.
So it's kind of weird, but I don't know, Ray.
I don't know either.
So
well,
I guess we'll just get ready, get my credit cards ready to pump up, and hopefully keep our fingers crossed that they all go through tomorrow.
Yeah, absolutely. Hopefully, too many people on vacation.
Yeah, I was hoping to play hooky tomorrow, but I don't think it's going to happen.
Oh, you got a big weekend. That's good. That's great.
Well, it's tomorrow. Tomorrow is my birthday.
Oh, great! Happy birthday!
So it's between that and everything else, we got a lot going on, and I really, Brianna's is on the 14th. So the next 5 days are going to be crazy anyway. So
That's, my car was painted 2 years ago tomorrow.
oh, really? Wow.
Yep, it was painted on your birthday. How many candles?
What is it? 56.
Nice. It's a good year. Terry likes that.
Don't tell Terry that. Yeah,
It's
it's
funny
55, baby. 55. We got to stick with that.
Just before I came down, I was watching TV. American Graffiti was on.
Oh,
So it was the beginning of the movie, and I said, I'll watch a little of this. And one of the first scenes where they went out cruising on the strip, all the cars are out there, and what's on the side of the road with a hood open that ain't moving? A '56 Chevy. I was like, it was stuck. And then it cruised by. A minute later, it cruised by.
That picture I sent you from the car show, that guy, it was a Buick LeSabre, the 60.
Yeah.
I think that was a 60.
That's a weird looking one. Yeah.
Yeah. That guy, that was the first time that car was up there. Like I said, he lived out. We have a retirement home place. I don't know. It's 10, 15 miles down the road from here. But he goes, oh, I never knew you guys did this. And I said, yeah, we've been doing it for a long time. And he's like, wow. And I said, but that was a 60. But I don't know if you remember on Fast Time at Ridgemont High. Was that a 59?
No, I think that was like a 60 or a 61. It was one of those early 60s cars. Yeah.
Yeah, because it was that blue one, the blue Buick.
Was that an Invicta or a Savoy? It was one of those oddball names too that a lot of people didn't know.
Yeah, because that one, one that one was a LeSabre, right. And I know that, and that was only 1 year. That one was, because I think 59 had the slanted headlights. That was the angry looking one or whatever,
Right.
But I guess I had to go find the Fast Times and see, because that's what the car looked like. I think that was an Invicta.
Yeah, actually, the roof line was kind of cool with the windows and all. And if two-door, it's not as bad looking to me now as it was back in the day.
Yeah,
back in the day, I didn't want to look at it. Now I'm like, that's it's cool. That long back and the bubbly roof, and it's
and the fin on that. Because I know that like I said, looking at the 60 here was a little bit more softer. It wasn't as sharp as the 59. But it's funny how they change those things all the time, the style of the car, they really worked overtime pressing new sheet metal out.
Oh yeah, almost every other year. Yeah, I think that's a 60, the Invicta.
Yeah.
So,
and then they had I guess I gotta go back and look, because seeing that car was, I told the guy, I said, you just don't see them, it's a hell of a.
So imagine trying to get parts, or like trying to get trim, or
God, could you imagine?
Where was that? Was that a cruise day? Or was that a cruise?
That was up at our local. I mean, that's up at our shopping center. That's every Sunday.
So it's good. Okay, cool.
That was they call that. We call that the what is that, the Church of the Holy Donuts or something like that.
Okay.
I don't know. It's something like that.
That's cool.
Actually, one of them I've taken a picture before and I've posted it, but we have the guy has the Adam West Batmobile. He's got one up there. We got one up there, and that one was actually on that TV show, What's My Car Worth or whatever.
Yeah. Right.
And it was so funny because the girl that was one of the judges or experts,
I know who you're talking about,
gave him such a hard time because
she did that sometimes.
He didn't have anything. The motor's all stock,
right?
And he didn't have anything fancy done to the motor but he has, he had the turbine, it's like, the Batmobile, the 60s Batmobile. and he actually has a propane tank. He can shoot flames out.
Right.
You know, he could shoot flames out of it. So, but this chick gave him such a hard time about the car not having any pizzazz in the engine compartment.
She's wrong.
And I wrote them and said, "What's wrong with you?" Because the motor was a turbine.
Yeah. Right.
You know, it has nothing to do with under the hood.
Yeah.
You know, it's, you know.
And I'll tell you this: I drove the number 7. There were 7 of them. The number 7 Batmobile, and that car had a bone stock, oil burning 390 under the hood.
I know you told me that.
And I actually offered they were going to redo it, and they were going to hire. They're going to pay me to redo the motor. I said, "Yeah, I'll do it. I'll pull the motor, rebuild it. I don't care, no problem. I'll do it." And then they decided, you know, not to go that way with it. But yeah, the hood was never opened on the show. It was never about that.
So, but she's up there. But
I caught her a lot of times with a lot of cars. She was.
I was. So really, the guy's a really nice guy. He actually has, a 53 Lincoln. I mean, what the Batmobile was based on. He has the original
Ventura.
The Ventura, yeah, he's got original Ventura, and he's got the Batmobile. So when he brings both of those up, it's kind of funny because you can really see how much or where, you know, everything came from. It's really interesting looking at the two cars. But
do you know what his name is?
It'll come to me in a minute. I'm really bad.
I know a guy. We delivered a car to a guy in Virginia, and he also has an original Batmobile. Plus, he has the later one, the Michael Keaton Batmobile.
No, this guy he lives right down the road from me. He's right here. He's a local guy.
Cool.
His name, I'm really bad with that, but
no, it wouldn't be the same guy.
But the one thing about our Sunday morning, you never know what's going to come in there.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, we got the 944 with the LS swap, or we have the Rolls Royce with the LS swap.
Sure.
We got a Volvo, a square body Volvo with a small block Ford in it. You know,
do that. That's a popular swap.
Yeah. I mean, you never know what's going to come in or whatever, and so it's pretty interesting. But this Buick was and that GOAT, GTO, I think was the first time I've seen that too. That blue was that blue is so close to the factory Ford color of my Ford. I mean, the dark metallic.
Right.
And it's too bad the earphones didn't come in. I mean, the kids had these earphones on. The guy had that tubbed out Chevelle with the with two seats in the back with the kids in it, and they all had earplug. I mean, the ear had not earmuffs, but you know, ear protection.
I remember Friday night down the train station, the next town for me. It's a big cruise night, and when my older daughter was young, she was in a stroller. I'd bring her with me at night, and you know, it would be standing there. You're talking with some people, and guys are always like driving in and out, and then they got to stop and wait. Yeah. And I realized one day, like, there was a Chevelle running like avgas or Cam 2 or something. And I'm like, oh yeah, I like the smell of that. I realized like she's running tailpipe height. I'm like, oh my God, I better move her. I'm gonna get killed my wife's gonna kill me. I bring home this kid high on avgas.
Yep, high and 3 brain cells less. And then later in life, you can tell her, sorry, sweetheart, this is why you're a little less upstairs than everybody else.
Yep.
That's funny. Yeah. I used to take of course, the one thing I love about the Sunday morning is I can leave, go up there and, you know, do my stuff, and I can get back before anybody wakes up. You know, they don't even know I'm gone, you know. Right. And it's pretty good that way. But every once in a while, I used to take the girls up, you know, if they were up or whatever. And it was so funny. You know, this is when they were little, you know, 5 and 6 years old or whatever, 7 years old. It's so funny what they pick out on the car, because they say, oh, this is an old car. And you're like, well, why is it an old car? it doesn't have any seatbelts.
Right, right.
You
There you
know,
go.
it was kind of funny how what they see, how they make it, or
Yeah.
it's like this car's all metal. They
Yeah.
look inside a car and the dash is metal compared to
Right.
being plastic or
And then you show
whatever.
them some of the bigger cars, how many ashtrays the big cars have.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
In
I
the
mean,
dash, in the doors, the rear.
they didn't have cup holders, but then we had ashtray. Everything was
on
ashtray.
the backs of the seats, there were ashtrays. They were everywhere. Right.
Yeah, there's a guy that brings up I don't know what year Eldorado. It's an older Eldorado. It has a stainless steel top.
That's a Baritz. Yeah.
Yeah, and you open the glove box up, and it has the mini bar in it.
Nice.
It's factory. It has the cups and a little tray, and it has a little ice thing. And I was like, man, that's about as good. I was coming back from our meeting down in Southern Maryland Tuesday night. We had a regional meeting, and I forgot how many drive-through liquor stores they had down there.
Wow.
And they still have the drive-through liquor store. I thought they would be all banned by now, to be in the car, to drive through, to pick a six-pack up.
That's cool.
Yeah, I remember, like I said, back in the day, we would drive down there and get to drive through the drive-through liquor store. Of course, we were, they barely carded you back then.
Yeah.
That's funny.
That's cool.
Oh, well.
Good stuff.
All right, Ray. Well, you have a fun time. Don't.
Yeah. Listen, and you too. You got a great weekend. Congratulations on everything. You guys got some great milestones this weekend. That's a great celebration.
Yeah, can't
and then
wait.
We're going out to dinner tomorrow night. Linda wants to take me out with the girls for a retirement dinner, and then I got a buddy coming in from PA to spend the weekend. So it's just like 4 or 5 of us. We're gonna get together and go out to dinner Saturday night. So yeah, I got a lot of eating ahead of me.
Yeah, we got Saturday is Emma's the graduation party. Sunday, the mother-in-law is supposed to take us all out, and Monday.
At your house?
Huh?
You doing the party at your house?
Yeah, we're going to do it here.
Cater, yeah,
cater in, and have everything here. Monday will be graduation.
Right.
And Tuesday, which will be the 14th, which would be Brianna's birthday. We usually do a dinner too. So
you're just rolling one after the other, man.
So maybe I want to do much grocery shopping.
Right. A lot of leftovers. You have a lot of food from the catering. Yeah. Right. I'm telling you. Yeah. It's very true.
So
that's
hopefully
that's good. Good. A lot of good stuff.
Hopefully we survive it all. Having the family all together.
Right.
Molly's coming down, because she's living up in Towson, but she's coming down and staying. So we got all that. So back to a 5-house full house.
Well, that's good because all the girls get together and you can just sneak out the back door.
Yeah.
That's what I do. I get them all talking and I just disappear. They never even know I'm gone. That's it.
Yeah. Until you go to ask that question, there's no answer.
Right.
Oh, well.
All right, Brian.
All right, Ray, take it easy.
All right. We're going to end for Playing in Traffic. Lewis Lee, Ray Guarino, Matco Man Brian, Motormouth Radio on Sunday. And we're going to end a little early tonight. So we'll go out and get a little bit of rest, and I'll do an early carburetor tomorrow.
Yep. Don't follow us home.
No, that's right. Unless you have catered food.
Yeah.
Or good coffee.
Good. I forgot to make my I don't know, it's a little late now. I really missed having my coffee.
Oh, yeah.